Guys, do not date Charlie Sheen. Not in the 80s, not in the 90s.
Now, right? I don't know.
I don't know.
I don't know about him.
Just to err on the safe side.
Hello, and welcome back to Generation in Between, a Xennial podcast where we remember, revisit, and sometimes relearn, and this week, rewatch all kinds of things from being 80s kids and 90s teens. My name is Danny.
Hi, I'm Katie.
And today we're pumped because this is the last movie in our Xennial Girl Summer.
Yes.
Last one. And it's one that is pretty fun for a lot of reasons. And it's Space Camp, the 1986 sci-fi adventure film.
Is it sci-fi?
Yeah, it's considered sci-fi.
Huh.
Yeah, which
Okay.
I thought was weird because I'm like, it's space, but
Yeah, and it's like real people, but maybe with the robot being part of
guess,
it, maybe.
yeah.
I don't know.
yeah, and it's kind of fun because it fictionally takes place here on the Space Coast.
Yep.
Even though that's not where they filmed it. They filmed it somewhere else, but and Katie had never seen it.
Never seen it. And you know, you actually can't find it on any of the major streaming.
Yeah, okay. So fun story. Patrick, you're going to be so excited. And somebody else besides Patrick told us about this a long time ago.
It was a Dawson's Creek listener.
Yeah, somebody, and I can't remember who it was, but I remember Patrick told us about this a long time ago. And then another listener told us, and y'all know we'd be forgetting stuff. So I was searching for Space Camp and how to watch it. And I Googled like how to stream Space Camp because it's nowhere to be found. And this website, archive.org, popped up. And it's amazing. It's like a library of all kinds of old media that you just Google and you watch it. Is that where you watched it?
That's where I watched it.
So you can watch it for free. I mean, the quality is meh, but you know.
It was,
YouTube.
yeah. That's what I was saying. It was just like watching it on YouTube.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So anyway, archive.org, you can go there and find, I wonder if we can find my so-called life there, but I feel like we'll be able to stream that.
I don't know. We'll look.
We'll see. But anyway, so you'd never seen it.
Never seen it.
I'm excited to talk about it.
Me too.
Lots of famous people in this.
Oh my gosh, so many.
So we're just going to jump right in because we don't have a lot of buildup to get into this. So the official summary of the film is this. The young attendees of a space camp find themselves in space for real when their shuttle is accidentally launched into orbit. Now, I had watched this movie a lot when I was a kid, I think because it must have played on HBO or something, and we like recorded movies from HBO all the time. And there were some that we would just watch, and this was one. And so I could not remember for the life of me how they accidentally end up in space.
Yeah.
And it was just as preposterous as I hoped.
Yes. I hadn't seen it, but I was wondering that too. I just assumed maybe they hit the wrong button or something, but it's more complicated than that. It is more complicated than that.
It is way more complicated. So I'm just going to tell you a little bit about the film. We'll go into some of the cast. I didn't do everybody in the cast. I just did like the big name people. And then we'll just talk about some fun facts. And you can throw in your opinions as we go.
Sounds good.
All right. We're so official today.
We're so this is very
efficient, professional. It's a Saturday morning too. Look at this.
Weird.
I know we're having to adjust. I don't know how much I can talk about yet about my new job.
Just wait.
So I'll wait. Okay. So 1986 sci-fi adventure film inspired by the real life U.S. space camp in Huntsville, Alabama. It was directed by a man named Harry Weiner. He also directed some episodes for Dawson's Creek, Party 5, and the TV show Alias. So lots of Xennial credits under his belt.
Wow.
The story was written by Patrick Bailey and Larry B. Williams. The screenplay was by Clifford Green. For some reason, identifies as W.W. Wickett in the credits. Don't know. Guess
That's
his,
strange.
I know.
Okay.
Also, Casey T. Mitchell helped write that screenplay. The score was by John Williams.
Yes. I noticed that almost immediately.
Who is like composer icon of the 80s, 90s, and today. Star Wars, Indiana Jones, Harry Potter, E.T., Close Encounters of the Third Kind, Jurassic Park, and also Steven Spielberg apparently loves him. So anyway, NASA actually approved the script for this movie.
Really?
Even though it involves a colossal screw up on the launch pad of their staff.
And maybe you're going to get into this, but I looked up the timing of the Challenger.
Okay, so let's talk about that now.
Okay.
So when this film was released in 1986, it was a marketing nightmare. because it was released less than 5 months after the Challenger disaster, which happened January 28th, 1986. For those of you who are young people out there I'm sure you learned about this in history class. I was in first grade at the time, and I can't remember if I was watching it on TV, because remember, that was a big deal.
Yeah.
Or if I just, like, Troy and I were talking about that. I was like, do you remember watching it? He's like, I can't remember if I was watching it or if I've just heard so many people's stories.
Yes.
Like that Mandela effect.
Mandela effect, yeah.
I know, my sister is 7 years older. She remembers it, like watching that disaster take place. And a lot of people of our generation have a lot of trauma.
Of course.
Watching that as a small child. Just like 9/11, for kids who saw that on TV. Anyway, so the filming, though, of this movie was completed long before the disaster happened. They filmed it in the summer of 85.
Okay.
So long before it happened, but it takes a while before you release a movie.
Right.
So some people thought the movie was kind of capitalizing on the shuttle tragedy and should have never been released, but people associated with Space Camp disagreed. They said they took extra care and took extra steps to avoid any appearance of exploitation of a tragedy, which I don't know. Yes, I understand that everybody was very sensitive to everybody's views of the space industry changed, I think, when that happened. It's dangerous. It's a dangerous thing, and it's hard, and there's a lot of variables that can go wrong. So I don't know that this,
there was the one scene that kind of made me cringe a little when they are still on the ground and they're simulating, and the teacher is yelling at the guy who is the captain. And she's like, you just disintegrated on re-entry.
Correct.
It's your fault.
You
right. Just killed all these people. And I thought, yikes. That's what made me look it up.
That's true.
Because it's sort of blaming a staff person.
I know.
When we know, and I don't know how quickly we learned that it was not a personnel issue with that. But I thought that scene probably could have been rewritten or taken out specifically.
Yeah. So, anyway, it did not do well for those reasons when it came out. It only grossed, it said it grossed less than 10 million at the US box office.
And what's interesting, had it released a year earlier, I bet it would have been a different story.
I know. And NASA approved the script long before this happened.
Of course.
And it was too late. The film was already made.
Yeah.
They probably should have just delayed, and they didn't. Because capitalist economy, that's just the way it is. Later on, the script, you know how sometimes they'll take movie scripts and they adapt it into novels? They did that with this, and they did change things in the story. They had references to the Challenger disaster, and some of the kids' decisions to actually attend space camp was because of that. They wanted to learn more about it. So I will say they took steps then, but I think they probably handled it pretty poorly, in my opinion.
And I feel like I know they already long before had wrapped production, but not referencing that at all in the film. I feel like maybe spend a little more and shoot a few more scenes where they're talking about it and it's acknowledged. I think that would go a long way.
Agreed.
But to just sort of it feels kind of tone deaf, especially soon.
Yeah.
To just be here's a movie about space and we don't talk about that at all.
Yeah.
I
feel like, didn't that happen after 9/11 with a few movies? And it was that's too soon.
Yeah, there were a few that never came out, or they just came out later. They held on to them, which was smart.
I know. So critic Roger Ebert gave it a 1.5 star rating.
Woo, okay.
And he said, our thoughts about the space shuttle will never be the same again, and our memories are so painful that space camp is doomed even before it begins. Kind of agreed with him on that.
Yeah.
Anyway, it did do better later. It was a flop at the box office, but when it came out on VHS and stuff, it did much better.
Makes sense.
And that's kind of how people got to know it, because it had been enough time. And things back then took longer than they do now, because everything's digital. So everything is faster. But anyway, so let's talk about the filming a little bit. The movie was partially filmed at the U.S. Space and Rocket Center in Huntsville, Alabama. That is home to the first and last remaining space camp program. So, The setting of the movie, though, actually takes place here in Florida at Cape Canaveral. And I saw the sign and I got all confused. I was like, wait, that says Kennedy Space Center. They're supposed to be in Florida, but they didn't film that. That's not here. And so anyway, so that's where they filmed it. The interior of the space shuttle Atlantis in the movie was actually filmed in the Atlantis simulator there. So cool. It was real. It wasn't like a set. It was their simulator. This was interesting, and I had to look up what this word meant. You'll probably know. It said the space shuttle set, they were like anti-gravity, like they were gravityless. And it said they put it on top of a gimbal in order to effectively simulate weightlessness. So a gimbal, everyone, do you know what that is?
No idea.
Well, I'm going to tell you. It is a pivoted support mechanism that allows an object to rotate independently of its base, keeping it perfectly balanced and level. Okay. So you've seen that probably with cameras, it keeps it whatever. And this was just that on a bigger form. Okay. And I've seen that with like videos and stuff, how they have something on like a stand, where they're like climbing on the ceiling and shit like that.
Oh, yeah.
So, so they really were weightless. They weren't like in chains.
What? I've never been to space camp, but
they weren't in like wires.
Yeah. Okay.
Like Mission Impossible, like where he's on the thing.
So they were filming them being weightless. That would be fun as an actor.
Right?
That'd be really cool.
I think I'd freak out, but
me too.
Yeah, we would pass out. Like in the air.
In the air. They have to like fish us out with a hook. Like pull us back.
Like that poor lady in space just passed out.
Yeah. Oh
and
my
that
God.
12-year-old pulling her in. Come on. I know. Come on. All right. So let's talk some about the cast. So we'll start with Kate Capshaw. She played Andy Bergstrom. She was the female astronaut and the camp instructor. A little bit about her. I just did a little bit about each person because, research be a lot, guys. It's a lot. So you know who her famous husband is? This is
no, I know. Steven Spielberg.
Yeah. Nicely done.
Took me a second, but yes.
She actually met him while she was filming Indiana Jones and the Temple of Doom in 1984. She was picked out of 120 other actresses to be in that movie for that role. But that's where she met him, and then they fell in love and got married. And I thought this was interesting. When she got married, she converted to Judaism. Okay. Because of him. And I thought, well, that's nice. I don't know. This is interesting to know. So some other Xennial things you might know her from. I mean, there's lots of things, but her big break, her big acting gig was on the TV crime soap opera, The Edge of the Night. Oh, my grandma used to watch this. She was on it for 32 episodes. So it was her first big gig after moving to New York City to pursue acting. We'll talk about how she got there in a second. You know what I forgot she was in? She was in How to Make an American Quilt in 1995.
Yeah.
And when you go to IMDb, that's the clip. You know how they show like clips? That's the clip they show. Huh. And because I was like, she was in a movie with Ellen? And then I was like, oh, yeah. Anyway, she had some other stuff too, but nothing. I thought she was in way more stuff than she was. Because I was like looking, she's been in things, but I was like, oh, but it's not as many things as I thought. So she actually was a former Ford model, which she's gorgeous. I know, she's gorgeous and tall. She actually got a BA in history education and an MA in special education from the University of Missouri. So she's a Midwestern gal. She actually did teach for a while at Rockbridge High School, and then she decided to leave teaching to pursue acting. What a turn.
Had she done acting before that?
I don't know.
You don't know. Wow.
It's just, I don't,
okay.
I was like, wow,
probably,
that's crazy.
Maybe she like just did it like growing up and just started her career and changed her mind.
We know how that be.
Oh, yeah.
Like, you gotta just pay the bills. So, and then you're like, well, this is actually terrible and I want to go try something else. I'll go give it a go. And it apparently works for her. So,
I mean, she married like the most famous director. I mean, and then independently was successful.
Correct.
By landing, but I mean,
but yeah, she was in Indiana Jones, obviously. I was like, that's what a lot of people know her from. And that's as soon as Troy saw her, he goes, oh, Indiana Jones. So I was like,
yeah.
Okay. And then we have the man who played her husband, Tom Skerritt. He played Zach Bergstrom. He was the male astronaut camp instructor. He's what they called a flown astronaut.
Yeah.
Yeah. His story is interesting too. He was first noticed in a UCLA production of The Rainmaker. and before he made his movie debut in a movie called War Hunt in 1962. And I was like, is that the right year? But I guess so. But he spent the next decade after that in TV before he moved on to movies. Some other Xennial stuff you know him from. He was in Alien in 1979. He was in Top Gun, of course.
I immediately thought of Top Gun.
Troy, too.
I
you know what I thought of?
Huh.
Steel Magnolias.
Yeah.
He plays drum in Steel Magnolias.
He was really good in that one.
Yeah, Top Gun in 1986, Steel Magnolias 1989. He also won an Emmy for his role in the TV show Picket Fences. I don't know if you remember that show.
I do remember that show. Okay.
Yep, 1992.
I like him. He's a good actor. I like seeing him himself. I was like, a Picket Fences? Okay, I like him.
Tom Skerritt. This was a funny fact I found out. He actually modeled for Guess Jeans in the late 80s, early 90s.
Okay.
So he was a little older, but they liked his like kind of all-American gruff look appearance. I did not know he did that.
I mean, he played like an Air Force commander and a flown astronaut.
I know.
So like,
there you go.
How much more aspirational can you get?
Remember that when Guess Jeans models were like the thing to be? That Calvin Klein, like you made it. You made it as a model if you were doing that. He also was in the Air Force.
Oh, okay.
And he is co-founder of a charity called the Red Badge Project, and that helps veterans who suffer from PTSD. So, so he's been doing good in the world.
Good job. See, I told you I liked him.
Okay, you're right. He's got good things.
Keep liking him.
Then we're going to move on to Tate Donovan, who played Kevin Donaldson.
Oh, yes.
This was the arrogant and selfish teen.
Blonde.
Who got assigned the role of commander to teach him responsibility. Now
come on.
That doesn't make no sense.
To be fair, they didn't know he was actually going to have to be in space.
I know. But
yeah. And then like the reason at the end that she gives the girl, I can't remember her name, the instructor gives Lea Thompson. Catherine. I don't know how I forgot that.
Kevin and Catherine.
Is that she wanted her to have to work harder for it. Because
I know.
That's what she was going to have to
work
do.
Harder. She's a
I was like,
I
anyway,
know.
Go on.
Stupid.
Tell me about this man.
Okay, so Tate Donovan, he started acting in his teens. He was in, like a lot of people in the 80s, was in a lot of made-for-TV movies at first. Some other things you know him Xennial-wise is Memphis Belle, 1990. He was the lead guy in Love Potion number 9 in 1992. He was the voice of Hercules.
In the movie?
Uh-huh.
Oh.
And he's a singer, obviously.
I'm going to have to re-listen to that now.
And he was the voice of Hercules, not just in the movie that came out in 1997, but in like tons of other things that Disney did with that, like cartoons, video games. Like he said, I am Hercules' voice.
Just me.
I will take everything you throw at me to be that voice.
I love it.
Paycheck. I would do that. I'd be like, give me the paycheck. Sure.
Especially voice acting.
I know. That's the best gig.
Come on. I'm not even, I don't mean to say that's like easier or anything, but like if you don't even have to have your face on it.
Oh, listen.
It's hard work.
Oh, yeah, of course.
If you've already got it down for the movie, just carry it over to all the other things.
I think probably all actors would agree voice acting is probably a much more relaxed gig than face acting.
For sure.
So anyway, he was also in 3 episodes of Ally McBeal in 97 and also 5 episodes of Friends in 1998, which is when he was dating Jennifer Aniston. He was actually engaged to her, and also he was engaged to Sandra Bullock. Not at the same time.
In real life?
Yeah.
Oh. I thought you were trying to say he was engaged to Rachel on the show.
No. So I don't know if I think they were dating when he had his few shows on Friends. I don't think they were engaged yet, or maybe they were. But yeah, he was engaged to them both and didn't marry either one. The engagement fell through.
His loss.
He's kind of like a confirmed bachelor. He's like George Clooney, I guess.
Yeah.
So like I said, he's a singer, obviously. He sang in Hercules. He can also play the fiddle and something called I'm not even going to try and say this because it's an Irish word. It's Bodhran. You know how to say that?
Mm-mm.
That is an Irish handheld drum. What does that mean?
So he just learned how to play that.
I guess. He must be Irish, I'm assuming, but maybe not.
Tate Donovan.
Yeah, I mean,
probably.
It sounds like an Irish name. But yeah, so he's very musically gifted. Look at that.
Well, I like that. I like him too. Not as much as my friend Tom.
Your new buddy.
But I do like
your new
him.
pal.
I like him.
Then we have Lea Thompson. Okay.
Love.
She played She played Catherine Fairley. She's the one who like idolizes Andy, the female astronaut. She wants to be the first female shuttle commander, but boo, she got assigned the pilot role. Did not want that. She wants to be the boss. I understand. I get it.
Yeah.
So something we've talked about her before on an episode.
Yeah. I can't remember which movie we talked about, because we haven't done like Back to the Future. Obviously, she's really well known for that one. I'll have to think about that.
I know we talked about her, but anyway. So, because some of this stuff sounded really familiar, but I'm just going to say it again, because some of y'all are new anyway. She actually trained and had big dreams of being a professional ballet dancer.
Nice.
Okay. As a teen, she got scholarships to the American Ballet Theater and the San Francisco Ballet. So big deal. But guess what happened?
Injury.
Nope. At 19, she auditioned for Baryshnikov. And he told her she was a beautiful dancer, but she was too stocky at the height of 5'4".
Yeah.
Yes. So she gave it up completely after he dashed. Honestly, you can't. I don't know if things have changed now, but you are not going to be a professional ballet dancer at 5'4".
Yeah. I mean, it sounds sort of like a jerky thing to say, particularly if he said it like that. But if she wasn't ever going to make it in the industry, if everyone had similar views and maybe still do, maybe it's a kind of a shitty blessing in disguise.
I know.
Because, I mean, obviously we know she went on to do some pretty awesome stuff.
Yeah, of course. I was like, I understand how that I was not a trained ballet dancer, but I know how it feels to be short and stocky. And I don't even think she's stocky.
I mean, you're not either.
Well, no.
But I know what you mean.
No, stocky is not like what people think
heavy.
It is. Right.
It's dense.
Dense. And you're kind of like I put on muscle very quickly.
Yeah. Okay.
Like my oldest is the opposite. He's lean. It's really hard for him to put on muscle.
Right.
He's just like long and lean. But like my sister and I are built very different. Like I am very stocky. We're all short. But her and my mom were more like naturally thinner. I'm dense. Listen.
You're dense.
There's a lot to me.
Totally fine.
People are always like, how much do you weigh? I'm like, I don't know. You can pick me up, but I'm not as light as you think I am.
Just guess. Yeah. Yeah. I mean, I have one like that too. Well, two, but one that's like everyone assumes is super light, but is very dense, very strong.
Yeah. You never know, guys. So anyway, she turned to acting at that point. First, she was in commercials. Like, it's a good start. Some other things you know her from. She was in her first big movie was Jaws 3D.
Oh.
Which I would never see in 3D. Terrify.
Heck no.
That was in 1983. This is funny. She was cast as a water skiing show performer. You've seen Jaws?
Yeah.
You know where they're like doing the whole like water show?
Yeah.
She was one of the water ski performers. But listen to this. She didn't know how to swim or ski before she auditioned. She had to learn. She got hired just based on her acting and her looks.
Wow. I mean, I'm sure her dance training helped. Like the sense of balance and all that. But it's a little different on water.
That's hilarious. She was in All the Right Moves in 84, Red Dawn in 84, of course, Back to the Future in 85. She was also in Back to the Future 2 and 3. She was in Howard the Duck in 86. We're going to rewatch that. We have to because it's so good. I mean, it's not. It's actually terrible. But she was in Some Kind of Wonderful in 87. And she actually met her husband while making that film. Howard Deutsch, Deutch. How do you say that? I don't know.
I don't know.
Okay, well.
I think probably how you said it.
I don't think so, but he was the director on that film. So another person who married her director.
Say these ladies meeting their husbands.
I know. She was in Dennis the Menace in 93, Little Rascals in 94. Those were some of her mom roles. And then I forgot about this show, and then I remembered I watched it in the 90s. She was in the sitcom Caroline in the City. She was the star. It was on for 4 years, 95
I
and 99.
remember that show.
Yep, and her best friend on that show, I can't remember her name, but the whole joke was that she was in Cats. Like her
friend was
the Broadway musical. So sometimes she'd be like in her full Cats regalia. Anyway, so speaking of, she's also a singer, and she did all her own singing in Howard the Duck because she plays like a rock star or whatever. And she was in Cabaret as Sally on Broadway a long time ago.
On Broadway. Oh, I could see it.
I could too.
I could see it.
So anyway, that's a little bit about her. She had a lot of fun things I want to just throw in there. Then we move on to Larry B. Scott, who played Rudy Tyler. He was the guy who loved science, but said he wasn't very good at it.
Yes.
I totally feel that on so many things, sir. Some other things you know him from, mostly people know him from Revenge of the Nerds.
Mm-hmm.
He was in the original movie in 84 and then 2, 3, and 4.
Jeez.
Yeah. He was in Karate Kid in 84. He was in some TV episodes of 227, Magnum PI, The Jeffersons, Saying Elsewhere, Martin, Seinfeld, and The Jamie Foxx Show. So you've seen this dude in the 80s and 90s.
Mm-hmm.
So, like I said, he's most well known for his role as Lamar in Revenge of the Nerds. And he plays he's supposed to be very flamboyantly gay. So he took dance lessons for this role. And he is kind of remembered for a couple things from those movies. During the Greek Games, he does a rap. I don't know if anybody remembers that. And then he also has an iconic carnival dance number in the first movie where he dresses up and performs a la Michael Jackson. And that completely wins over Ewan Jefferson to get the fraternity chartered. So he saved the day with his dance moves in that movie. We're going to have to rewatch Revenge of the Nerds. I'm just dreading it.
Me too.
Because I already know I'm going to have so much bullshit to say.
I can already think of a few scenes just off the top of my head that it's not going to be good.
I know. Like the one in the bounce house.
Uh-huh.
That's the one.
That one's pretty bad. Yeah.
Wait,
but we'll see.
Is that Revenge of the Nerds or is that Animal House?
In the bounce house? I feel like
where he has a mask on.
I feel like
and he goes and has sex with that girl.
That's Revenge of the Nerds.
Okay.
Yeah. That was
Sometimes I'd be getting those titty comedies confused.
I know, right? There's a lot of similarities, and some of the actors are the same.
I know.
Yeah. It's a little confusing.
We're gonna have to eventually do it.
We're gonna have to do it. Bite the bullet, but not right now.
No, we don't.
Xennial Girl Summer is fun.
Yes,
it's fun.
It is. Okay. So now let's talk about Kelly Preston.
Yeah.
Troy was like, who is that? He could not put it. And then we were like, oh, she played Tish Ambrose. She's the typical Valley Girl teen who's also, ironically, which is stupid, but she's super smart. She has a photographic memory. And it's supposed to be this running joke, oh, look at her. She's really pretty and silly and smart. Imagine that.
That's not real.
That a girl can be into science and also fashion at the same time.
Yeah.
Anyway, so she was famously married to John Travolta until her death from breast cancer in 2020. She actually was discovered by a fashion photographer when she was 15. So she's also beautiful. He helped get her work in the advertising agency with print ads and such like that. And he actually set her up for an audition for the movie The Blue Lagoon in 1980, famously done by Brooke Shields at a very young age.
Mm-hmm.
But studio executives told Kelly she was too sultry for the role.
Okay.
Well, because they wanted her to be young and innocent,
I know,
but that movie's a problem too. We'll have to rewatch that guy.
A mess. She probably dodged a bullet there.
Yeah, no kidding. Other Xennial film credits for Kelly Preston. She was in the Stephen King movie Christine, the one about the car, 1983. She was in Twins, 1988. She was in From Dusk Till Dawn in 96. Jerry Maguire, of course, in 96. She was the sister, and Jack Frost in 98. So y'all seen her too?
No, wasn't she Tom Cruise's girlfriend?
Oh, yeah.
Who breaks up with him.
I was thinking,
because she's got that Auburn show.
You're right.
Auburn hair. Yeah.
She's the one having the sex in the beginning and is
that is exactly what I was thinking.
I know.
I was like, I remember that was her. I remember.
That sex scene's so funny.
It's so funny.
It's supposed to be. And then I didn't know this, but she was actually in a Maroon 5 video. Oh, for their song "She Will Be Loved."
Really?
Yeah. Okay. She's in that video. Also, I didn't know this. She was engaged to Charlie Sheen from 1989 to 1990, and she was shot by accident in their apartment in 1990. I think by him.
Oh, Lord.
What?
Guys, do not date Charlie Sheen. Not in the 80s, not in the 90s.
Now, right? I don't know.
I don't know.
I don't know about him.
Just to err on the safe side.
Girl,
maybe.
I was like, what do you mean shot by accident?
Yeah,
See, I don't like guns. I don't like them. I don't like them. Okay, so anyways, her and John Travolta had a son named Jet. He was diagnosed with Kawasaki syndrome. That actually resulted in some severe allergies and asthma attacks. Kelly actually worked a lot on behalf of CHEC, which is the Children's Health Environmental Coalition. And that is a nonprofit that is dedicated to educating parents about environmental toxins that can affect kids' health. Mm-hmm. So she was really a dedicated advocate of that nonprofit. And sadly, he passed away at the age of 7 due to a seizure he had. Ugh. Isn't that so sad? I remembered they had a child that passed away, and I can't remember.
I think I knew that, but maybe not.
It was He had a seizure, and some complications from that seizure is what killed him. I know. It's so sad. So moving on to our next cast member, who was the youngest, and that is, well, in the credits, it's Leaf Phoenix, and we'll talk about that. We know him as Joaquin Phoenix. Played Max Graham. He's the little Star Wars obsessed 12-year-old who's been to junior camp twice, but Andy Letts stays at the main camp. Thank God, because he saved her ass up in his face. His little hands. We'll talk about that in a minute. He's the last one we're going to talk about. This was his feature film debut. Do you know who he reminds me of as Cooper?
Yeah.
I was like, he'd be looking like Cooper.
He does look like Cooper. Yeah.
As a young kid, and like his little, I don't know. I was like, oh, that looks like...
It was fun to see little baby Joaquin.
I know. He's so weird, but he's such a good actor.
He is such a good actor.
Now listen,
his family, I was
I know,
say,
when I tell you about his family, they
I know a little bit about his family, so yeah.
Oh, let me correct.
They're not crazy.
I say they're not crazy. They just, they think outside the box for sure. They're very earthy and like, yes.
Hence the name.
He makes sense when you know his family background. I'll put it that way. Okay. So, when he was a kid, all 4 of his siblings were signed to one agent as children, but their parents forbid them to do commercials for meat, milk, or junk food because they were very strict vegans and very strict healthy eaters. So they were like, you may not, which good. You're sticking to what you believe in.
Stick to your beliefs.
I get it. He was named Joaquin at birth, but he changed his name to Leaf when him and his siblings got their agent because he wanted to match his brother's earthier names, which were River and Rain. Mm-hmm. He was like, well, I want to have a name like yours because I guess he wanted them to be more whatever. But he changed it back to Joaquin in the mid-90s. His family surname, though, was not Phoenix. It was Bottom until they made a big cross-country move as a young family, and then they changed it to Phoenix because they wanted to symbolize new beginnings. So they're kind of hippies.
Yeah.
She said, yeah.
Oh, yeah.
So they're kind of earth children, and that's fine.
Yeah.
Some other things y'all know him from. You know him from a lot of things. I stuck to 80s and 90s. Mm-hmm. So obviously he was here in this movie. He was in a movie called Ruskies in 87, Parenthood in 1989, which is when he really took off. Have you watched that movie?
Parenthood, long time ago.
I was like, you're looking at me like you don't know that movie.
No, I know that movie.
Okay. He was in To Die For, Nicole Kidman in 95. That one's fucked up because that's where she's the teacher and he's her student. Do you remember this movie?
I don't think I ever saw it.
And he like is totally in love with her. And well, I'm just gonna tell you all the whole plot now because it's crazy. Go. It's such a 90s thing. And she kind of convinces them to kill her husband, but it goes wrong or something. I don't know. Fucked up. Anyway, he was also in Inventing the Abbotts in 97 and then Gladiator in 2000. Yeah. So that's just some of them. And obviously he's still working and doing all kinds of things.
Did tons of stuff.
Tons of stuff. Infamously, unfortunately, he was the one who made the 911 call when his brother River overdosed at the nightclub, the Viper Room in 93, which was owned by Johnny Depp. Do you remember this? Mm-hmm. I remember this very clearly. Sadly, that call of him calling 911 was broadcast like everywhere. They played it on the radio. It was all over the world. And that is just, one of the worst times of your life, just played over and over for the public is just yuck. Anyway, he also, another thing I had to throw in, he's a singer too. He did all his own vocals when he played Johnny Cash and Walk the Line, which is so impressive, especially because Johnny Cash has such a unique voice. Man, did he do a good job.
He did such a good job.
I mean, Reese Witherspoon did the same thing, but
with June,
But still, he just, Interestingly enough, Joaquin and Heath Ledger both won an Academy Award for their performances as the Joker. So they were the second pair of actors to win Academy Awards for playing the same character.
Okay.
The other pair was Marlon Brando and Robert De Niro, who won Best Actor and Academy Award for Best Supporting Actor, respectively, for their portrayals of Vito Corleone and Godfather movies.
Okay.
So I just thought that was an interesting, fun fact.
Yeah, that's really interesting. You have like these franchises, right?
Yeah.
Where over time you're going to have different actors are playing different
Like
ages.
how many
of the
Batmans
same
have we
one.
had?
Yeah,
Yeah,
exactly.
so
Exactly. Well, I have to admit, I looked up a little bit on this and I got a little bit on Joaquin and family. And did you see any of the like cult stuff or any
I
of that?
didn't because I didn't have time to dig too deep.
It was just they became, I forget the name of it, but his parents became really involved in that.
Oh, no wonder
once
you were,
they had moved. Yeah, and I was like, oh, I got to know more.
Yeah.
But the family left the cult. Well, they weren't calling it a cult. They left their religious group because they didn't agree with a form of evangelism that they used called flirty fishing.
What?
Which is exactly what it sounds like. They would use women in the group to flirt with, to the point of maybe even having sex with.
To convert
them.
Whoa.
But I guess his family didn't agree with that, obviously. And disagreements over that had them actually leave the group. Isn't that crazy? And the reason they call it flirty fishing is because they base it on the Bible verse being fishers of men.
Oh, I was just about to say, please don't tell me a fisher.
Yeah, which is not what that means anyway. Isn't that crazy? These cults be, they're scary. Well,
they are scary.
I'm not going to say anything else, but I had to look that one up.
You know, we have had a lot of listener requests that we do an episode on your cult thing.
Maybe we will.
That's up to you.
Maybe I'm feeling brave.
That's your decision, not mine. Yeah. So here's just some random facts, and then we'll talk about our thoughts. Sorry, my phone.
No, you're good. You're good.
All right. So Dr. Deborah Barnhart, the real camp director for Space Camp for part of the 80s, said in an interview once that attendance at the real Space Camp doubled following the movie's release.
Wondered.
Yeah, it doubled. So even though it did poorly, like I said, when it came out on VHS, like people, I remember my sister wanted to go to Space Camp. No, I didn't because I'm scared of everything. But my sister totally wanted to go to Space Camp.
Yeah.
Like 100% because of this movie. Lea Thompson actually said after the first day of shooting, they were already 10 days behind schedule. One day, and they're already 10 days behind. And what was supposed to be a 3-month shoot became 6. So it doubled. She said that they had T-shirts printed that said Space Cramp, not Camp. It's not just a movie, it's a career.
You're here forever.
Yeah. And speaking of T-shirts, did you see what her shirt said when she got out of her dad's plane when he flew her to Space Camp?
No.
It said, if we can send a man to the moon, why can't we send them all?
What? That's great.
I didn't catch it either, but I came across it. And so I looked for a screenshot and I was like, oh my God, that's hilarious.
That's great.
Also, Double Dare, the TV show, I forgot about this, so I saw this. They used to have a grand prize that was going to Space Camp.
I do remember that.
Yeah, it was like the coveted. Everybody, they hardly ever had it. It was only sometimes. And then when it was like, if you win this, what did they call like the last thing the kids would do? And it was like that big obstacle course.
Yeah. I don't remember. Maybe just
you're going to Space Camp.
Yeah.
So I just thought that is such like a nostalgic look back. Double Dare and Space Camp win.
Yes. And you said you still can go to Space Camp.
Yeah, and I'll talk about that more in a second. Okay. Yeah, actually, I'll tell you now since we already came up. So if you never went as a kid, you still can go because they have adult Space Camp.
Oh, wow.
So the regular Space Camp is open to kids 9 to 18. And this is the Space and Rocket Center in Huntsville. They also offer camps for older space enthusiasts. They also have family space camp. So you can go with your family that include at least one child and one adult. And if you don't want to go with a kid, you just want to go as an adult, they have a 3-day adult space camp that's for 18 up.
That's cool.
I'm sure it costs $1 bajillion.
I'm sure.
But if you still want to go to Space Camp, guys, you can.
If you never got that Double Dare dream and now you have the money to do it, you still can.
Yeah. So in a 2012 interview, Lea Thompson mentioned this. She said, I've actually had a lot of people come up to me and say that they became physicists or inventors and how much they loved that movie and how much it inspired them to do that.
That's like the, what is it, the Scully effect?
Yeah, the Scully effect. Yeah, we talked about that
from
before.
X-Files.
In 2016, which was 10 years ago, crazy.
Oh boy.
In honor of the 30th anniversary of this movie, the U.S. Space and Rocket Center inducted the film's cast into the Space Camp Hall of Fame. Cute. That is cute. And my last little bit before we just talk about our thoughts. So in 2020, in January of 2020, Disney actually announced that they were going to remake this movie. And they were going to remake it for Disney Plus. But I don't know what happened. Somebody named Mikey Day and Streeter Siddell.
Oh, Mikey Day.
You know
he's on SNL.
Oh,
he's an SNL guy.
Look at that.
You'd know him if you saw him.
I would.
I'll show you his picture.
They actually signed on to write the script. And it's supposed to be produced by Walt Disney Pictures. And as of current date, an official release date has not been announced. However, the project is on their official development slate.
Okay.
So it's coming maybe at some point. I'm assuming because that was in January 2020 and we all know the fucking world fell apart for a while. And I'm wondering if it just got pushed and now, I don't know.
So they're remaking the movie.
Yeah. Well, supposedly it's on their development slate, which means they're gonna hopefully happen.
Okay.
So let's talk about our thoughts. Did you take notes?
I really
took
didn't.
a few.
I really didn't.
Did you watch it alone? I always like to know when Katie watches stuff.
Sort of. Same as with Harry and the Hendersons.
Okay.
I was watching it in my
room.
kitchen area and people were coming in and out. So my husband was actually looking up stuff because that's what he does as we were going. I think he must have seen it because he was like, oh, yeah, that's the one with the kid and the robot launches him. And I was like, no, I don't think it's a robot. He's like, no, I think it is.
No,
and then I started watching it and I was like, oh, you're right. And then he likes Lea Thompson. He's like, oh, I had the biggest crush on her.
Oh, they all did. Everybody did.
And then Amelia walked through and she's like, how do I know her? I'm like, Back to the Future. She's like, oh, yeah, Back to the Future.
Yeah.
So people were stopping and kind of watching with me. And then,
But you watched it at a normal time.
Yeah, I watched it well, it's Thursday evening. Yeah.
Yeah, that's normal.
Yeah, that's normal. Normal for me? No. Normal for other people?
Katie doing things
correct.
when other people do them? Absolutely not. That's preposterous.
Weird.
Occur. So, where are we at? Let me see my thoughts. So you don't have notes. That's fine.
Not really.
Okay, but also I had to giggle because speaking of the robot Jinx.
Yes.
This kid just be stealing a NASA robot.
And everybody knows the robot's in his locker. And no one says anything. And also they're not missing the robot because it's a couple days that go by.
Isn't that just the 80s though?
It is.
There was no security. I'm sure probably at NASA there was.
Yeah,
that was probably a reach. But I was sitting there, we were laughing about that, and I was like, but there was not what we have now. We forget.
We do.
How things were kind of, this is why
nobody was looking
I know.
for the robot. That part I thought was weird.
Also, the kid was just wandering around the Space Center.
That's crazy.
How'd he get in there?
How'd he get in there?
Anyway, let's see. I wrote that the clothes were great.
They were really good. I loved Kelly Preston's hair.
I know, and her glitter on her face.
Oh my God, so good.
It was great. And I wrote the 80s tech and then the 80s robots. That was just, it was early AI stuff.
Mm-hmm.
And it was just so funny to see.
Actually, my husband looked this up because then I was like, Danny is researching this one.
No, go ahead, Brant.
So he looked up the voice actor for the robot.
Oh, yeah. I looked him up. Yeah,
that's okay. I don't remember his name or anything. So this is not going to be super helpful to you listeners. But something about he's such a successful voice actor even today.
Love that.
That in 2024, some stat he found, films that he's been a part of, collectively just that year grossed over, $500 million or something like that.
Damn.
That's how many things he's done.
That's amazing.
But I thought that was cool to hear it was a voice actor because especially that robotic sound, I thought, especially at that time, you
a sound
could
effect.
do that through sound effects. Yeah. But to hear that was someone's voice was really cool.
That's remember on keyboards, we still can do it on keyboards with the sound effect.
Oh, yeah.
I used to love that as a kid on our keyboard.
I still do that here.
You're bow, 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 bow.
Yeah, me too.
Hire me.
Me too. Hire me. You could be in films that gross over $500 million. Yeah.
Okay, so this is what I wrote. The absolute ridiculousness of how they even accidentally have to launch is so funny. But it is why it was such a fun movie as a kid.
Right.
Because it was so outlandish. And the fact that you could accidentally go to space when you're at space camp was What do you mean?
And it's a good premise for a movie.
Yes, it was.
Yeah.
Like all the things that would have to go like when they took them out on the flight line to go in the shuttle, Troy was like, come on, that would never happen. In fact, I'll tell you, this is how the government locks down all the things. My husband was a B-2 pilot, which I can say now, that's fine. One time I got to peek my head in that cockpit once. And then they stopped letting people do that. But you can't even stand next to it. You can't get close to it. We got to peek our heads in there one time, and that was it for like 5 seconds. And that was it. I'm not kidding.
I got you.
And then they stopped doing it, and that was it. Yeah.
Wow.
Not all planes are like that, but those are a little different.
They've got secret stuff. So, okay. The plot then at that moment was they're in there just to like see what it's all about because of space camp. And something gets activated because of Jinx.
Yes.
And they can't turn it off and they have to launch because otherwise they're going to explode.
Right. Something going on with the thermal curtain. That's the only words I remember.
And so they can't reverse it, basically.
Okay. There was so much science words.
Yes.
And like, obviously, it's a movie about space. So duh. But like, my brain does not know science things. So I don't know if anything they talked about was legit. Right. I don't know.
Probably.
I was like,
if NASA approved the script, although they could approve fake things too, I guess.
I'm sure it had some elements of truth to it.
Sure.
But like something with the equipment that if they stopped it, they would explode.
Yes.
And I think that also too was probably like not good after the Challenger tragedy.
Yeah.
Right. So they were like, we have to let it go. Like they couldn't, because it was already in motion. So you can't stop it.
Got it.
Or something would happen. Somehow Jinx was able to override the safety stuff they had, but like they would never put a bunch of kids up in there. That's so stupid. Yeah, so that's what happened.
Okay.
And then, so then they go, and then they have to reroute, of course. Then they're like, let's go to the Space Center and get the oxygen, or Space Station,
Station, yeah.
Troy goes, he was so irritated because he's like, okay, if there's oxygen, why did they make it impossible to get through?
Right.
Like, how are you supposed to get the oxygen?
Put it somewhere you can get it.
He's like, that makes no sense. And
on
I'm
a
like,
normal spacewalk.
Yeah. He's like, it's impossible. The grown-ass astronaut can't get the oxygen, so why is it there? And I'm like, I never thought about that as a kid.
Well, and for the plot, it's because the kid needs to save the day.
Right. But then, like, the whole purpose of it being there, how are they supposed to get it?
Yeah. Oh, no,
They never say that. That was so funny.
They never say. I liked the hair they put on Kate Capshaw, too, because it was very, like, the lady astronauts of the time looked like that. Like, she's a blonde, I think, in real life.
Yeah.
And they, gave her probably a wig.
I don't know if she's a blonde in real life or she's brunette.
Carries it blonde, but yeah, maybe she's not.
She might be naturally
maybe
brunette
she is.
and
maybe
dyes
she
it blonde. Who knows?
Yeah. I thought that was funny. Yeah, but the oxygen, that's a great point.
It was so funny. And then they were like, they were putting Max in the suit and they're like, it's too big. And she's like, wait, I got my belt. And I was like, how long is that bitch's belt? It was like all over that fucking kid. And I'm like, her waist is like this big. And you're telling me that belt
is the one they gave her?
And like, I'll have to pull up a picture and like, because it was so funny to me. I was like, we're supposed to believe that's her belt.
Yeah.
Which wrapping around an entire spacesuit, around every limb, around everything, that was hilarious to me. It was so funny. Speaking of that, I did write this other thing down. The oxygen part, where they're like slowly running out of oxygen. That part stressed me out so bad as a kid.
So bad.
I remember fast forwarding it sometimes because it went on forever.
It was a little long.
It was very extended.
The pacing right there, not great.
It was so extended. Like, I was like, okay.
I mean, the movie was almost 2 hours long.
I know, which is long for an 80s movie.
That's long for an 80s kind of campy movie.
And it's a kid's movie.
It's a kid's movie, yeah.
Was it rated PG? Yeah.
I think it was, yeah.
And then, like, also another 80s thing that was funny, like, this little kid just escapes his camp.
Mm-hmm.
And then they're like, all right, you can stay with all these, like, 18-year-olds.
That was weird, too. That was weird,
80s,
too.
Though. Like, yeah. Like, all right.
That's fine. Hang out with these grown folks over here. That's fine. I know. And again, for the plot, they needed it, right? Because if you think about it, like you said, your sister loved this movie and stuff. So yeah, teenagers were watching this movie, but that's probably not the target demographic.
Yeah.
It's younger.
Yeah.
So you want them to aspire to like what the teens are doing and how they look and their attitudes and stuff.
Let's
but
see.
also,
when this came out, it was 86.
Yeah.
So she was
would have been 12 or 13.
Yeah, she's
so that's about right.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's about right. And I think that's who they were aiming for.
But I think when we had it on VHS, it was a year or so
Older,
later.
yeah.
But still, you know.
That's awesome, though. Yeah, I actually really liked it. I mean, obviously, it's very unbelievable, and the science and the tech is a little like the whole plot. But I mean, as long as you're like okay with that, I thought that the characters. If that's you,
if you like fiction.
If you've ever read something untrue for the sake of it, enjoyment only, look, I write nonfiction, all right? So, but I thought it was enjoyable. I thought the characters were really likable. Yeah. I thought that there was a lot of like, without making a big deal out of it, like a lot of like gender equality in the film, even though like the one guy's the captain, even though he's like the asshole, but then it's kind of explained, and then the girl kind of saves the day. But then I kind of didn't like how they started romantically liking each other. I wish that wouldn't have happened.
They always,
but also you got to throw that in, and you know, that's a good plot device, I guess, where the two opposites who don't like each other come together. Although he liked her the whole time, but that's another story. Or like when they sneak out to go watch the launch and get caught. I was like, come on. Y'all know you're going to get caught. But that reminded me of A League of Their Own when they sneak out to go to the bar and they actually don't get caught.
That's one we need to rewatch because I love that movie.
I absolutely love that movie.
I love that movie. And I don't even like sports, and I love that movie.
It's just such a good movie.
It is.
And they did such a good time with such a good job with like the period.
I know.
Like the costuming and the makeup.
And the cast was like all-stars.
All-stars.
I mean, Madonna, Rosie, Tom Hanks, Gina Davis.
Yep. I forget the lady's name who plays Kit, but she's like a big star.
No, that's not it. What's her name?
I don't remember, but
Tate Girl.
Tay Leone was also in it.
Uh-huh.
Yeah, there's really what's her name? Rob Reiner's daughter was in it too. I can't think of her name. You know her face if you saw her. She's been in other stuff.
But anyway, we're not
talking about it today.
So you liked it. So that's
I liked it. I did. I honestly, surprisingly, I really liked Harry and the Hendersons, and I really liked Space Camp.
Guys,
it was really fun. Yeah, I really liked it.
Katie don't be saying that for stuff I pick.
And I had a moment where I was like, do I like Jinx the robot? I had to think about it.
So serious.
It helped when my husband said it was a real voice actor.
Because you're saying you don't want to like have feelings for a machine.
Oh, I don't like animatronics, which really that's what I was trying to figure out. I'm like, is this an animatronic?
It's not as deep as I thought.
No.
It's just that
am I creeped out by this? And I
creeped out.
Well, that's why I don't like animatronics. I'm very creeped out by them.
But it's a robot.
And that's why I couldn't figure out. But I think the fact that it reminded me a lot of R2-D2 in a way. And I like R2-D2. So I was like, there's a whole process. I can't just be like, do I like it or not? What's my feeling? It's like, well, let's think about this. We have to evaluate the why and the how. But I really liked this one. I really liked it.
Yay. What's your stars?
I think I'm going to give it 5.
Same.
Yeah.
It was a fun trip.
I really enjoyed it.
It's a fun trip into space.
Of course there's plot holes and of course there's whatever. But like, I didn't feel like it was really problematic in any ways. I didn't feel like some of the pacing was a little rough in space. But even then, it was fine.
They were worried about that oxygen for way too long.
Way too long.
Too stressful.
But it's and obviously, if you accidentally launched to space and you thought you were going to run out of oxygen in X number of hours, you would be so much more panicked.
Oh my God. Right.
And they were sort of like, uh-oh. And then like, fine. But again, for the plot of the film, you can't just have an hour and a half of people being panicked. You have to show. And I thought it was cool.
I mean, you could, but
you could.
Horrible movie.
Space panic.
I tell you, throw us accidentally into space. Just somebody got to just knock me out.
We'd just pass out and then die. Period. 12 hours later, gone. So we gotta come save us. Maybe little Joaquin could pull us out.
They'd be like, they just leave them. They're gonna suck all the air out.
It's fine. It's fine. Don't worry about them.
I mean, I don't know how we'd ever end up in a situation where we'd accidentally be launched, but if it happened,
I mean, we're inching closer to the possibility.
They'd be like, now you have to do math, and I'd be like, well, we're dead. We're dead.
Look, all roads recently are leading to the Space Center, so I'm just saying.
Katie would have to deal with a robot. She'd be like, I'm out. It's an animatronic.
I'd be like, are you a real human voice? No. Go away. Are you related to R2-D2? No. Bye. No. Related. Are you guys cousins or something? What's going on?
Oh my
God. But no, I really liked it. That was a really fun one to end on.
Yeah, it was.
That was a good summer film. And all we have left in Xennial Girl Summer, and it's just a short little thing, is Anne of Green Gables, which I have started listening to as well.
Oh,
the
you
Rachel
haven't finished it
McAdams.
yet?
No, I'll probably finish it this weekend, today and tomorrow.
You have to finish it this week
because I have to research it to bring you all the knowledge.
Yay! Can't wait for that. By the way, I finished it and I did not. I was talk about dragging on. I was like, is this book done yet? I don't care what else she's doing in the schoolhouse.
Get her out the schoolhouse.
I'll say. Now I will say, you're listening to the Rachel McAdams.
Yeah,
okay.
I am.
So on Audible, if you haven't listened to it yet, and you have Audible, I will say Rachel McAdams does an amazing job narrating it but you can only listen to her read it on Audible.
Okay,
it's an Audible exclusive.
Yeah.
So if you're trying to find it and you have Audible, or do my little hack that I did for a few years before they figured me out and I had to start paying for it, is do a free trial for 30 days and then cancel it. But I did that like 3 times and then they were like,
we figured you out, ma'am.
I would wait a few months and then I'd do it again. And then I'd wait and then they were just like, okay, you are not eligible for a free trial anymore. I was like, shit. I use a couple different emails. These are hacks, life hacks. Y'all know y'all be doing stuff like that. It's
the technology's catching up to some of that stuff, I think.
I know.
But
Darn it.
Either way, if you have Audible anyway, Rachel McAdams,
you want to
listen there.
Listen to it.
Or read the hard copy of the book. Or if you read it when you were younger and you just want to hear us talk about it and not reread it, that's fine too.
It's longer than I thought it was going to be.
It's long. Yeah.
I was like, damn, I got to settle in. Well, I listen to stuff on fast. Do you do that?
Yeah, I haven't with this one yet, but I might need to finish it. I listen at 1.5 usually.
Yeah, I tried to not do that, and I'm like, they're reading so slow. I can't. It grates my nerves.
Yeah, when I listen to podcasts, I listen at normal speed because I like to hear, I don't know, people's normal conversational cadence. And also, usually whatever podcast I'm listening to, I'm not really on a deadline. If I don't finish it that time I'm listening to it, I listen to it the next time. But when we're trying to get stuff done for the podcast, sometimes it's like, well, I really have to finish it by tomorrow so then I can research it, so then I can whatever. So.
Or it's like, I know I'm going to be in the car for half an hour.
Right. I got to get through it. Yeah, exactly. Well, okay. It'll be a fun discussion. It'll be a lively discussion.
It shall be.
One way or another.
It shall.
So thank you, listeners, so much for being with us for all of our Xennial Girl Summer episodes.
Yep,
one more left. Yeah, one more. And then we'll move on to something else fun. And please leave us a positive review wherever you're listening. If you could do a written review, that helps as well. Use some keywords like 80s, 90s podcast. You could use the word Xennial, spelled with an X.
This is a lot of directions.
Well, the reason I'm saying this is because the algorithms will pick that up.
Oh,
so if someone is looking for
a podcast on,
Xennial, 80s, 90s, whatever, fun, any of that
culture.
Stuff. Pop culture is a good
Retro.
Yep. All those things. And it just bumps it up in the algorithm for people to find us.
Bump us up. Bump us up.
Bump us up. We appreciate you.
Go follow us on YouTube too, because we're at 105.
Are we at 105? Yay.
As of this morning, 105.
105.
No wonky comments this week. It's amazing.
Well, now that you said that.
I know. We had one person say something about our sound because we had a little sound error last week.
We did.
But they were super nice about it. They were trying to be helpful, not an asshole.
I appreciate that.
So thank you, helpful random person.
Thank you, helpful random YouTube person. All right. Well, we will see you next time here on Generation in Between. Bye, guys.